Hi there, and welcome to The Salted Pepper, where we cook for real life using real food and we keep it real simple. And today I am going to celebrate fall by making some pumpkin pie custard in the Ninja Foodi air crisper and pressure cooker. And now I feel like I have to qualify that because there's a couple of other products in the Ninja Foodi family, including the grill and the blender, which you'll be seeing from me coming up in future videos. Anyway, so, fall is the time, everything for pumpkin pie and spice and apples. And so I really wanted to make a really quick and easy custard that we can pressure cook in individual containers. And so what I have here are 4-ounce canning jars. So they are safe to go under pressure because they are used for pressure canning. Now this recipe, we are not canning anything. We are simply just using the pressure cook function to cook the custard in the Ninja Foodi under pressure. All right, so this is really easy to do. You could do it in a blender or you could do it like I'm gonna do it just by hand. No problems whatsoever. So I have 3 eggs here that I'm gonna crack into my mixing bowl. These are 3 large eggs. If you wanted to use a blender for this, what I would recommend is putting the eggs in, the sugar, the pumpkin, and then blend that up, and then add in your half and half and your cream, just so with the mechanism of the blending, you don't whip that cream at all. All right, so I'm gonna put in the sugar here. It's 1/3 of a cup of sugar, so 3 eggs, 1/3 of a cup of sugar, and I'm just gonna give this a quick whisk. You don't need to get it light and fluffy or anything like that. We're just trying to get the eggs whipped up a little bit and the sugar combined. And we're gonna add in 1/2 cup of pureed pumpkin. Now this is not pumpkin pie filling. This is pureed pumpkin that comes in the can. You could use fresh too. So if you have a pumpkin and you want to puree it, you could certainly use a fresh pumpkin as well. It's 1/2 cup, and I'm just going to mix this up. Okay, so once the pumpkin is combined, we're going to add in 2 tablespoons of vanilla extract. And we're also going to use 1 to 2 teaspoons of either a pumpkin pie spice, which you can get already pre-blended in the grocery store, or you can blend your own using cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, and allspice. Now, I've tested this recipe so many times and I'm actually running low on the pumpkin pie spice, so I just made up my own and I'm going to use that today. But you can certainly simplify it by getting the pumpkin pie spice. This is by McCormick and it's in most grocery stores. And 1 to 2 teaspoons. I've tested the recipe with 1 teaspoon and it probably just needed a little more pumpkin pie spice for my liking, and I had Amber test the recipe for me and she agrees. So 1 to 2 teaspoons of the spice is what you want. So I'm going to put that in, mix it up. And now we just put in 3/4 cup of half and half and 1 cup of heavy cream. Now, when Amber tested the recipe, she did it with all heavy cream. So you can certainly do that. It worked out perfect for her, so there's no problems there. But I thought we'd cut a few calories here by just using the half and half. All right, so now it's all whipped up. That looks perfect. I love this dessert because, it's so much fun to have these little individual dessert cups. It's just so cool. And you could top them with whipped cream and a little bit of cinnamon or something like that, and that would be just so cute to serve. All right, let me get this cleaned up here, and we're just gonna pour these in to all of our little jars. Now, when you pour them in, you want about 1/2 cup. I don't usually measure though, I just go in and I take it right to the line where the lid screws on. So you can see there's a little line there, and that's where I take it to. They will puff up a little bit while they're under pressure, but not too much. Oh, it smells amazing. So once I get all these filled up, what I'm gonna do is put the lids on, and we're gonna get them into the basket. I have the basket in the inner pot here. This is the easiest way that I've found to do it. And you can do a double layer in the basket. You do not need to use a rack or anything like that. It works fine. You just stack them right on top of each other. So no extra equipment for this one. Well, except for the canning jars. And you do wanna get these canning jars, the 4-ounce little canning, like for little jellies and stuff. You can find them in most grocery stores, and I will link below to them on Amazon as well if you want to pick them up there. All right, so we have 8. We have just a tiny bit left, so I'm just going to go back over here and just put the rest in each one. You do want to leave a little bit of what's called headroom here, which means you don't want to fill them up to the very tippy top. And you also don't want to be tempted to open these lids right after pressure cooking. You want to let them sit, and then of course they should cool for about 4 hours. But if you open these lids right after pressure cooking, the mixture inside is so hot, it will start to kind of bubble up and it will make a mess. And ask me how I know, because I've done it. There we go. All right, so we're gonna put the sealing rings on. Let's dump our 1 cup of water in here. So that's done. And we just place them right in the basket. So the lids have 2 parts to them. They have the ring, and then they have the little sealing part when you're using it for canning. But we're using it just to protect from water because, again, we're not canning these. We are just pressure cooking them. And you will hear them seal as they cool down. So don't become alarmed at that at all. They will seal, but these are not safe to just store on your shelf in your pantry. This is not pressure canning. This is just pressure cooking. Just want to be really clear because I don't want anyone to get sick. All right, so I got 5 down in the basket, and the other 3 will just go on top. Now you could use the rack. I think Amber did when she was cooking them. She used the rack, but I figure why bother? If you don't need to, why have something else you have to clean? All right, so all 8 of them are in there. And now we'll get our pressure lid on. Whenever you're pressure cooking, run your finger around the seal. Make sure that it is pushed all the way in. And then we will put our lid on. Turn the black valve to seal. Turn the Ninja Foodi on. Pressure. We're going to go to high pressure for 7 minutes. 7 minutes and hit start. So then we'll allow the Ninja Foodi to come up to pressure. We will go under high pressure for 7 minutes, and then I'm going to let it naturally release for 7 minutes, and then we will release the remaining pressure if there is any, and we'll get them in the fridge, okay? So quick and easy dessert, and perfect for fall. Now, speaking of fall, in case you didn't know, I have put out my first cookbook. It's called Flavors of Fall. You can find it on my website, and I'm going to link to the website right up there for you if you'd like to check out that cookbook. It's got 30 plus great fall-themed recipes, including a pork loin with apple gravy that is so super easy and absolutely delicious, and tons of other things. I make caramel apple popcorn balls in there. There's a recipe for buffalo Chex Mix. There's a recipe for an apple crisp pie that, you make a little shortbread crust, and it's just really easy and, absolutely delicious. So I hope you enjoy the cookbook if you decide to pick up a copy. All right, so we have been pressure cooking for 7 minutes, and then we did a natural release for 7 minutes, and now I'm gonna release the remaining pressure. Okay, so that didn't take any time at all, and now the red button has to press, so you can open up your lid. Do that away from you. Oops, it looks like we've got one that kind of fell over. That won't cause any issues, though. You might have your custard a little bit off center, but it's okay. All right, so here we go. So you can just pull them out here. Now, when you're doing this, be careful. They are very, very hot. If you're wearing something like these kind of gloves, they are not waterproof or anything, so I'm just very careful when I pick them up. Or you could also use tongs if you're more comfortable with that. Just make sure you get a good grip on them like I didn't just do there. Or there's actually, like, you could use a canning, I forget what they're called, but it's like a jar lifter specifically for canning. That would work fine as well. They look good. All right, so what I usually do is let them sit on the countertop for about 15 to 20 minutes or so, just to cool down before I put them in the refrigerator so they don't lower the temp of everything that's in the refrigerator already. So I'm gonna do that, pop these in the refrigerator. They're gonna cool for about 4 hours, and then we're gonna get to tasting this delicious pumpkin pie custard. All right, so I've let our custard cool for about 4 hours, and I wanted to just mention that what you will hear is like a little popping sound. As they cool down, they will seal, okay? But that doesn't mean that we canned them. We just pressure cook them. But as they cool, the little top kind of sucks in a little bit, and so you'll hear a little popping sound. And that means that this is kind of tight on there, so you just need to lift it up a little bit, and then you'll feel it release. But anyway, there's our little custard. So exciting. It looks so good. Now what I would do is if I was serving this for, like a dessert, I would definitely put some whipped cream on there and then sprinkle it with some more of the pumpkin pie spice or just some cinnamon, just to make it look really pretty. But I'm not gonna do that today. I'm gonna dig right in so that we can see what the texture of this custard is like. So it's pretty smooth. It tastes just like pumpkin pie. It is so delicious. It's kind of like flan meets pumpkin pie meets custard. The pumpkin spice is perfect. Wow. Well, I hope you enjoyed this recipe. It is super easy. It is absolutely delicious. It tastes just like pumpkin pie. I'm really excited about it, and I've got more fall recipes coming for you soon. But also, pick up your copy of Flavors of Fall by the Salted Pepper. You will not go wrong with these recipes. They are absolutely delicious and triple tested in the Ninja Foodi.